This conference will now be recorded.
Is it my screen is visible? So I'm sharing the screen. Can- Is it my screen is visible? Okay. Yeah. Once again, good morning, guys. Can you make this session as a interactive? And if you don't have, if you don't have anything, you can go on mute too. No. So I'm just making you mute, Mohan Krishna. Yeah, fine. So the first thing uh, is it my screen is visible? Let's just confirm once again. Confirm that is it my voice and is it a screen is visible? Can someone confirm, please?
Yes, you are audible and screen is visible.
Thank you so much. Okay, so this is a demo session, which is a Java full stack demo session. So let me give introduction about myself. I'm Lakshman, having more than 14 years in Java and J2W technologies. Yeah, I work for the company. Yeah, and so last 13 years I'm doing the we can say this online training. So daily at one or two batches. Yeah. This is a little background about myself, and today demo session is let's make it as more interactive. And what are the doubts you are having? What are the questions you are having? Feel free to unmute yourself and you can ask. If there is no questions, you can go on mute, please. Okay. So this Java full stack program, it is going to start from the basics. Okay, we will get start with the what is a programming. It, it will start from the very fundamentals. So the moment you decided to start your career as a career in Java, what are the things you must know, and as a full stack developer, what are the things you must aware of that? And if I learn Java, if I want to switch to this some other career, what are the paths I'm having here? These are the topics we would be discussing, and what we are going to cover. End of the course, what we would be building the applications, what kind of applications we are going to build, and where we are going to deploy that applications, what are the tools we are going to use it in during the development phase, and what are the industries using that. So these all these things I'm going to give the overview. Yeah. So when it comes to the first thing is, first we would start our discussion with the dev environment we are going to work with that. Okay, dev setup, we would be doing here. Dev setup is what are the tools are required. So the moment you start working on any project, we need a certain tools. What are the tools are required? And those all the tools I will show you the how to install, and I'll make you one of the person to install in the classroom itself. The first and foremost, we are going to install the JDK. So this is a JDK. We are going to install the JDK 20. We are going to use it. So this is the latest version. We would be using the JDK 20. We are going to use it here, and then uh, we are going to use the build tool called the Maven. Okay, so either Maven or a Gradle. This is one of the two tools are most widely used one, and we would be using the Maven. We are going to use it here, and then there is a other tool called the IDE. So when it comes to the IDE, so we have a multiple IDs are available. So we would be using the IntelliJ IDEA. We are going to use it here. IntelliJ IDEA, we are going to use it here. This is the ID, we would be using that here, and community edition we would be using. And then next one is we need to install the VS Code. Okay, there is another one, VS Code, we are going to install. This VS Code is especially when you're working with the UI, we would be using the DViewer, VS Code, we are going to use it here. Then uh, when it comes to the database side, we are not going to install the any database on your local machine. We are going to use the cloud database. We would be using that here. I'll tell you that what is that cloud service. In order to connect with the database, we would be using there is another tool called the DBviewer. DBviewer is a DB client. It's a DB client. We would be using that here. And then this is the basic setup, basic dev setup we would be doing in your machine. So the day one, we are going to do all this setup. We would be doing that here. Yeah, let me send it back. So these are the main things it's required here: JDK, Maven, and IDE. That is IntelliJ IDE, VS Code, and DBviewer, DB client we required here. Once you are done with the dev environment setup, then we would start with our basic concepts with the core Java. Okay, we would be discussing about the core Java. We are going to learn that here. In this core Java, we would learn the programming fundamentals. So we are going to learn the programming fundamentals we would be learning here. So the basics, like how to write a simple hello world example, how we are going to use how we are going to run that programs, and all the fundamentals of the concepts will be programming concepts will be covered. And once you are done with the fundamentals, then we will discuss about the object oriented concepts. Yeah, we are going to discuss about the object oriented concepts. Then we'll discuss collections, reflections, annotations. So these are the concepts you would be learning in a core Java. The main focus will be given in a core Java, the programming basics. Okay, fundamentals of the programming. Yeah, let me put it here. So basics, we are going to learn that here. Then we are going to learn the object oriented programming. Okay, object oriented programming. Then once you are done with the object oriented programming, then we are going to learn about the exceptions and collections, reflection. Then we are going to learn about the annotations. Yeah, then threads. Yeah, so these are the main concepts you will be learning in the core Java. And the core Java is a place we will spend uh, more than 25 hours. Yeah, and this is a basic fundamental blocks for to learn the advanced concepts. Like now, once you familiar with the core Java, we can decide that whether you want to go as a test automator, or like no, so then you can go it as a Android developer, or you have a three things you can decide here. Like suppose if you are going it as a full stack developer, you are going to learn the advanced concepts. You are going to learn that here. Once you have a strong knowledge on this area, where you could decide your career, like now if you want to go it as a Android developer, you can do that here. And then here we are going to use the test automation side. So we are going to the testing side, automation testing, Selenium or something if you are learning, or if you are interested. And the must have knowledge is a core Java. Must have knowledge is a core Java. Once we did with this, like as a full stack developer, like one more concept I just missed that here before we are going to go to the advanced concepts, we would be learning the SQL. Okay, we are going to learn the SQL. So this is a place where we are going to learn about the SQL. We are going to learn that here. This SQL, we would be learning all the fundamentals and like advanced concepts, how we are going to use the row level analytics. Those all concepts we will be learning here. Like when you are learning the SQL, where you would be introduced to the DDL and DML and DQL and TCL, how these commands are under DCL, we are going to write it here. This is the commands, how to use that here. And then we are going to use the uh, group group functions, how we are going to use the group functions. Then we are going to use the window functions. window functions, how we are going to use the window functions in that index, how we are going to use it here. So these are the SQL concepts we would be learning. Once we learn the SQL concepts, then we are going to learn about there's a concept called the JDBC. Here, once you learn that, we will come back to the JDBC concept I will be introducing here in the core Java as a part of this. All these things comes in programming fundamentals. Okay, here we are going to learn about the JDBC. We are going to learn that here. Now, your database is running in somewhere. Okay, this is my database, and here this database installation. During this installation, I will explain you that how to use the cloud service. Okay, that's a render.com. We are going to use it here. This render.com is like Amazon Web Services. It is going to offer you the database as a service and how to create a instance with them, and it's a free. The first 3 months it's a free. So 3 months is a good time for us to learn and to explore the new things. You would register with them, and we are going to create a one database instance, and this database we are going to connect by using the initially we will be using the DB client. We are going to use it here, DB client, in order to make a call to the database, get the data, and to manipulate the data. We would be using the tool called the dbeaver. We are going to use it here. We would be using uh, okay, suppose if I'm taking the database, and here database client, we are going to use the, okay, let me not to use this here. Here we are going to use the dbeaver. dbeaver, we are going to use it here. Okay, dbeaver is a database tool, the database client. We can connect with the databases. We are going to connect with that, and we would be doing the all the DB operations. We are going to do that here. Once we learn the JDBC, once we learn the JDBC here, instead of dbeaver, we are going to use our application, Java application. Java application, we are going to use it to talk to the databases. To talk to the database, like now, here we are going to build your application. This application is going to talk to the databases. Send it back. This is a Java application we are going to use. This application will be talking to your databases. So this is a concept. And I would strongly recommend people, whoever wants to become a developer, these are the must-have skills. Whether you learn in Java or Python or some other language, whatever it is, like, you must have the one database knowledge. We must have the one database knowledge. Okay, one database knowledge, one programming language. So if you are a Python developer, you would be choosing this as a Python is a programming language. You are going to choose that here. And SQL is a common for any database, any programming languages. No, once you know SQL, you would be using the equivalent of the JDBC in other programming language. You would be connecting with that. You are going to connect with the database. You are going to connect it here. So whether you go Android developer, whether you go tester, or you go it as a full stack developer, these skills you must have. Yeah, every developer should have the one programming language knowledge and one database knowledge. And here I'll be introducing the one when I'm explaining about the SQL databases. There are no SQL databases also in the projects. Most of the projects are using that. And here I'll explain about the no SQL database. That's a MongoDB. Okay, MongoDB is the one. So where we will be learning about the MongoDB. When you are using the MongoDB also, we are not going to install the MongoDB. So we would be using the Mongo Atlas. That's a cloud service. They offer the database as a service they will offer. So just we are going to use the Mongo Atlas. We would be using that here. So when during the learning phase, we will learn a lot of the cloud services, how we are going to use it here. And along with that, most of the applications, they would work with the different file systems. Okay, they would work with the different file system. That is how to work with the dot properties file, and ML files, JSON files, CSV files, Excel. So these concepts also will be covered in the core Java. Like now, whenever you are working any project without these files, like now, you can't imagine that, like now, building the project. Like now, you would be using the property file for the configurations. ML files also used for the configurations, and the JSON is a where we want to human readable data you want to exchange with the systems, then we would be using the JSON. Commonly uploads, bulk uploads and downloads would happen using the CSV or Excel. Where when you're learning about the Excel, we would be explaining about the Apache POI, how it works. And when it comes to the CSV, the Apache common CSV, we have a library, how to use that, how to write the CSV files. And when you're coming to the JSON, how the JSON objects are read it in Java, and Java objects, how it will be converted into the JSON. So this concept I would be discussing here. Here we would be learning a lot about the third-party libraries. When you are working with the ML, we use the library called the SnakeML. Okay, SnakeML is a library, we are going to use it here. Okay, the SnakeML, we are going to use that here. And when it comes to the JSON, we are going to use the faster XML. Okay, this is a library, we are going to use it here. And CSV and Excel, CSV, we are going to use the Apache library, we are going to use it here. And Excel, we are going to use the Apache POI, I'm going to use it here. And then there is other format, which is a PDF. Okay, we want to generate a PDF reports, you want to generate here. How to generate PDF report? For that, we will be using the Apache FOP. How are we going to use the Apache FOP generating the PDFs? I'll be explaining about these things. And what are the code we are going to develop or we are going to write it? That code has to be maintained in the central repository or source code repository. And the day one you enter into the organization, they will be giving you the source code access. And that source code access, here we are going to use the GitHub. We are going to use it here. And in the GitHub, I will be teaching you the fundamentals, how we are going to use the GitHub, and how to push the code, how to create a repository, how we are going to, if there is a merge conflicts, how we are going to resolve that here, how we are going to, when you are collaborating with the team, the team might be sitting in a different corners. If you take this as my project, this project, maybe people are sitting in a different corners. One person is sitting in US, the one person is sitting in India, another team is sitting in some other country. End of the day, they have to collaborate and they have to work on the same repository, they have to work on that. When they are working on the same repository, different time zones, we should be careful about that. We need to whatever the person he makes the changes, end of the day he has to push that code. And the other time zone who are working on that, they will take the latest code from that, and they will be continuing the on top of that, writing their own code or their own fixes. They will be doing that here. How are you going to collaborate? For this, we would be using the Git. We are going to use it here. And Git cloud version is a, we would be using it as a GitHub. Okay, GitHub, we are going to use it here. GitHub or Bitbucket, the most widely used one is a GitHub and a Bitbucket. These two tools are there. We can use the one of these things, we can use it here. To get familiar with the Git, where we are going to use the what is a Git, and how we are going to push the code and pull the code. Then typically merge conflicts will happen. How we are going to resolve that, how to do the branch out, and whenever you are fixing the hard fixes, how to do the branch out, and how you will be fix the hard fixing, and how we are going to merge that. These concepts also will be covered in programming fundamentals. And then there is a build tool. So here I was discussing about that. The day one we will get start with our discussion with the Maven project. We will not create any Java simple Java projects. We will create a Maven project. This Maven is a build tool. The Maven is a build tool where your project may be having the different, it requires the different libraries like SnakeML, Faster XML, Apache, Apache Commons, and Apache POI, Apache FOP. And when you're working with the Spring and other things, we require a different libraries. All these libraries has to pull from the Maven central repository, and it should have the standard directory structure, and it has to automate your build process. For that, we would be using the Maven. So Maven uses the concept of the XML, and all the configurations will be done it in XML. So the build tool is used as a Maven. We are going to use it here. This is a Maven. We will introduce the how to create a Maven project, how we are going to create a multi-module project, and when you are building the how are you going to build the packages. Those things will be covered with the Maven. Yeah, the Maven, we are going to explain that here. We are going to explain here. And all these things will cover the the fundamentals of the as a developer, what are the things it's required here, working with the build tools and working with the Git, working with the databases and external file systems, and how your external files and our external file system, how we are going to work with that, and the programming fundamentals and JDBC. So database interactions, this is the crux of the we can say that no entire program, the main focus would be giving, this is the area. Once you done with these fundamentals and we are very strong in this area, then we can move with the advanced concepts. Or once you are done with that, now you decided that you want to go as Android developer or testing, test automator, you can test automation side, you can go ahead and you can learn easily. Yeah. So far, any questions, guys? Anyone has any questions here? It makes sense what we are going to learn in the fundamentals of the programming. Did you get any questions here?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you. Now, once we are done with that here, now you may ask the question that like, no, hey, how are you going to this examples are going to be executed? Now here, if you take the one of the previous batches, so the source code, whatever I'm going to execute or whatever I'm explaining in the classroom, one is like, no, notes will be given. These notes will be shared with you. What are the scratch? I'll write it here. That notes will be shared with you, and along with that, okay, this application. Along with that, the source code, the moment I am done with the session, immediately the code is going to be pushed to the GitHub. Okay, let's take it as a July batch if I'm taking here. Okay, okay. This is what we would be learning that here. Like now, we will create one batch here, and what are the things you are learning in core Java. So if you take the core Java, these are the code we are going to learn that here. Like now, day 27. So this is a place where we explain like no day one, what are the examples we have done that here. Like no day one, we have done the example called the hello world example and EMI calculator, how the EMI is calculated, and the operator example. Like no, these examples I will be explaining and I will be executing. Will not take any ready-made code. It's a like no everything it will be coded, and at the same time, the same examples will be pushed to the GitHub repository. From there, you can clone and you can get it that here. Suppose if I'm taking here, this is one of the classroom example. Like now, whenever you learn the concept of the collections, you want to do this some kind of a assignment. Like now, you want to practice some questions. No, you need to do this small assignment. Suppose if I'm taking this example, it is a quiz taking example. Like when I'm running this example, it is going to tell you that here, let me run this application. I hope it is running. It is it runs. Okay, here we have a this application is a quiz application where what it does is that this quiz application, based on the selection of the quiz, it is going to show the questions, and those questions are available in no this is a place GK questions, and then we have a Java questions we are having here. It is going to read this JSON file, and finally it is going to like no first it is asking the name. Let me enter the name. I'm going to enter the name as a Manoj. Hey, what is your choice? Whether you want to take a quiz or whether you want to, sorry, Java or GK. I'm going to select the Java. Hello Manoj, welcome to Quiz World. Your quiz is going to start in few seconds. Then it is saying, it is asking the question. What is the Java keyword to create a something? I'm going to give it here. Don't worry, that answers. I'm saying the so there are the four questions. I answered that here. Hey Manoj, please wait. Your result is showing that. Total questions are four. Number of correct answers is two. Thank you taking quiz with us. So this kind of a small applications you will be building the in the classroom. I'll be explaining that here. Some things I will do it. Some things I will be giving it as a assignment where you are going to do that assignment. We are going to do that here. Suppose if you are taking the IPL statistics, IPL manager, if I'm taking here, like now we have a data. This is the data we are having here. Let me take it as a this is the data. And what is the data we are having here is we have a players.json data we are having here. These are the players and all the IPL players we are having here. From this, we need to do the statistics of that here. How are you going to do this here? Like, no, the statistics is what they are asking is here. Hey, get me all the team names, get me the team statistics, the role stats, search, max paid by role, max paid by the team. These are the questions we are having here. I implemented the two questions and rest of the questions was given it as a assignment. Like, no, where you are going to, like, no, the concepts are covered, collection concepts are covered, and then we know how to read the JSON file and all the explanation will be given. Then finally, certain things I would be doing that here. Some things I'm going to give it as a assignment. Whenever you are giving this is a blank means it's a assignment questions it is. So for that, what are the implementation? These are the methods are required, and I will be giving the skeleton, and we are going to implement those methods you are going to implement here. So every day you will be giving the assignment questions. You are going to give the assignment questions, and the mini projects will be given here, like, employee statistics and invoice generation. Based on the country, we are going to collect the tax, and then you are going to generate the invoice. These are the few projects you would be building when you're learning the core Java. And at the same time, the examples, if you look at here, what are the examples we are, like, you take a topic, we will discuss about the theoretical discussion about the topic. Then we will start the practical examples. We are going to start that here. Once you are done with that here, then we are going to learn the JDBC. When you're learning the JDBC, what are the examples you are doing here? Again, you have two projects here: contact book application, where how we are going to interact with the databases, and with the best practices we would be explaining about that, how to write the queries, and how we are going to execute that queries, and finally how you will be uh, how we are going to close your resources. And this is the examples we will be explaining about that here. Same thing, IPL stats is one more example. This I have done in the classroom, and this IPL stat will be given it as an assignment. Like, now if you look at here, so there are this is the interface has got the three methods. Like, as an assignment, this is assignment. Like, now whenever you are saying that this is assignment, you can see here JDBC assignment. These many questions are there. Like, now you are going to solve this all the questions you would be solving that. So this is the way the classroom sessions will be we are going to execute. So end of the day, when you're learning JUnit, and like, now what are the things you learn in JUnit, we are going to push that here. Now here, along with this core Java, there is another concept which we are going to learn, that is a JUnit. How we are going to write the unit test case for your application. So this is also very important, and we are going to cover this topic also. We are going to cover in this. So once you get a strong fundamental knowledge on these areas, learning the advanced Java will become the very easy. And going as an Android developer also easy. Going it as a testing side also, it's easy. So I would say this is the must have knowledge in when you're learning the Java technologies. Once you are done with that here, then what is the next step as a full stack developer? Okay, we got familiar with the build tools, we got familiar with the IDE, then we are using the SQL and JDBC. So then I understand the YAML, JSON, CSV, Excel, how it works. This is good. Like, no, so what is the next as a full stack developer? Then we would be learning the UI. We are going to learn the UI portion. We are going to learn it here. So the UI, where we are going to learn about the HTML, then we are going to learn about the CSS and the JavaScript. Okay, then we are going to learn the TypeScript. Okay, and we are going to learn the Angular. These are the things we would be learning in now UI portion. Like, no, here one more topic we would be introducing here, Bootstrap. Okay, Bootstrap is another UI framework where we can build quickly your applications. We are going to build it here. So once you learn this, then what is the next step is we are going to learn about this Spring and Spring framework. We are going to learn it here. This Spring we are going to learn about learning by using the Spring Boot. If you take that here, Spring framework, and there are a lot of modules are there in the Spring. We would be learning about the core module, and we are going to learn about the MVC, AOP, and here we are going to learn about the REST. Okay, REST we are going to learn that here. Let me not to. Okay, Spring we are going to learn about the core module. Then we are going to learn about the MVC, Spring JDBC, Spring JPA, and we are going to learn about the Spring Security, how we are going to use the Spring Security OOP. Okay, these are the main concepts we would be focusing on the when you're learning about the Spring framework. And Spring framework will be introduced by using the Spring Boot. We are going to start with the Spring Boot, and this is a place where we can learn about the you are going to get familiar with the some servers, Apache servers, and how to use the logging frameworks. Okay, logging frameworks, and how we are going to do the profiles. Okay, how we are going to do the profiles, like Java profiles, I'm saying that how we are going to do the dev environment, QA environment, and production environment. If you have a different environments, how we are going to configure those things, you would be learning in the Spring framework. When you're learning, we would be learning here. Once you learn the Spring and Spring framework, and where we are going to build a application, our databases is here, and we would be writing your Java application. You are going to write it here. This would be running in a cloud. Okay, this database instance is running in a cloud, and here we are going to write a server application. We are going to write it here, and we are going to write a UI application. This UI application is we can say it as a Angular. We are going to take it here, and this Angular application is going to talk to the your server application, and the server application is going to talk to the your database. It's going to talk to the database. It is going to talk to that here. Okay, this is the database, and here this is a server application, server app. I can say that here, and this server app is we are going to build by using the Spring Boot. We are going to build by using the Spring Boot. So by using the Spring Boot and these concepts like core, MEC, JDBC, JPA, security, AOP, these are the concepts you would be using. We are going to build this application, and we would be exposing the APIs. We are going to expose the APIs. These APIs are REST APIs we are going to expose, and those APIs will be consuming in Angular application. We are going to consume that here. Once we learn that here, we are going to develop a application, and end-to-end application we do the integration. So persisting the data in the database, writing the server-side application, and then we are going to use the Angular application, talk to the server is going to talk to the databases. And here this deployment and everything, when you are doing that here, these applications we are going to deploy the cloud. We are using the render.com. We are going to use it here. Render.com is a website where we can deploy your Angular application. We can deploy the server application. We can deploy the databases. And here the first 3 months it's a free. I'm saying that here, that's the reason we are going with the render. Or if you have an Amazon account, you can use the Amazon account. You can use it here. So this is a place where we will deploy like a Docker. We are going to deploy our server application as a Docker, and Angular applications we are going to deploy it as a static pages, and this we are going to take it as a database as a service. We are going to take it here. So then we'll explain about the how this Docker and how the Docker works, the containerization. We'll be discussing about that here, and the Docker files, how we are going to create for your application. We would introduce that here. So once we are done with all these things here, then whether what are the source code you have written, whether it is followed the industry standards or best practices, it is followed, or is it your code is a buggy, or something needs to be fixed. For that we would be using the Sonar Cube. You are going to use it here. This Sonar Cube is a static code analyzer. It will tell you that whether your code quality is it a good or bad. It is going to tell that here. So for that we would be using the Sonar Cube, and then here we are going to use the Jacoco plugin. It is going to tell you that here how much code coverage is done that here, whether you cover all the cases or not. The test case coverage, to check that we would be using the Jacoco. And then we are going to use the Jenkins is the place where we are going to do the build automation. When you're doing the build automation, like this all the steps every time it has to be executed. Instead of doing the manually to update this to do the CI/CD jobs, we would be using the Jenkins. We are going to use it here. I'll show you that how to use the Jenkins and how we are going to create a job and how to run the job. If job fails, where to go and look for that. Those topics I will be covering here. So once you have done with all these things, like now sometimes what happens is here we need to write a quickly some scripts we want to write it here where we would be using the in that case Python. We may write the scripting as a Java developer. It is good to have the Python knowledge. So the Python is we will be learning about the fundamentals we learn and how we are going to use the Python scripts, how to write that here. Suppose some data needs to be cleaned up and it has to be quickly uploaded it into the some databases. It has to be uploaded. Instead of writing in Java, we may take the Python help and do like no. So we will use the Python knowledge and we can quickly do these cleaning operations or file operations. We can do that here. And what are the as a Java developer, what are the Python skills is required? We will be covering the Python fundamentals. We are going to cover at the end. We are going to cover at the end. We would be covering the Python. We are going to cover that here. Okay. So this is a place where we will be learning about the basic concepts. We are going to learn about that here, like how we are going to use the list and set, and we are going to take the dictionary. Okay, then we are going to use the like how we are going to define a functions. Then we are working with the files, how we are going to working with the files, working with the database, how we are going to work with the database. So these concepts will be covering that here. And this is the area we will spend little less time. The reason is that once you learn all these Java concepts and all these things here, Python can be learned on your own. But still, we can give a jump start about the what are the things you look at the Python and what main things you have to learn. We will give the introduction about that. So these are the things you can expect during this Java full stack program. And what are the industries using? Most of the things will be covered as a part of the when you are discussing in the classroom examples. We will follow the industry standards and the best practices will follow, so that you will get a experience of the working in the projects. Working in the projects, you will get that experience, like pushing the code to the using the GitHub to the using the build tools. Then when you are building the projects, we will not give the names. If you look at the names, okay, the projects whatever you are building here, we will follow the best naming conventions. And okay, we will not just give the names, random names. We will not give that here. If you look at here, the proper naming conventions how we are going to follow. And separation of the code, everything we will not dump it into the one place. We are going to create a different packages. We'll create it here, and we will organize your code also. How in actual projects they will organize. That's the way we are going to organize. So this is what you can expect in this Java full stack course. Any questions? Does anyone has any questions? Any questions or any doubts? So yeah, you can feel free to ask that. See, one more thing, no, Java means people will think that only learning the core Java with some object-oriented concept is good enough. That's not correct, guys. A lot of third-party libraries we will be working on that in the projects when you're working. No, so whenever you are learning something, suppose you want to implement in your project JSON, you have to go and learn about the new library. Okay, how to get familiar with the library and how we are going to learn that, we'll explain you that here. Once you learn about the one library, next library when you're using that, you don't need anybody help. You'll go on to directly uh, read about their documentation and you will try to implement that here. Yes, any questions, guys? Yeah, I'm speaking.
One question, quickly, one question. Can I ask you?
Yeah, no problem, please go ahead.
Java DSA part is covered in this curriculum. May I know that one?
See, it's like no, it is a separate concept as such. I mean, like no, we will cover the in the collection frameworks. What are the things essentially it will be used in the projects? I'll be covering that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm a bit late to the meeting, but how
no
long will
problem.
the course will be?
It is going to take the 2.5 months.
Okay.
Okay. So daily it is a 1 hour 20-minute session. Yeah. Uh, uh, that's a sharp. It will start and it will end in 1 hour 20 minutes maximum. We'll spend, and during the weekend Saturdays we'll you will spend the little extra time. It's a Monday to Friday sessions in IST.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean,
hmm
classroom recordings will be provided, right?
Yeah. It's a recordings will be provided and the notes will be shared with you, and along with that, the examples whatever I'm executing that will be shared with in the GitHub.
Yeah, is working professionals is suitable for this? I mean, from non-IT background, complete
See, it
zero coding
is like
knowledge.
no, it it is completely it starts from the fundamentals. Like no, even the batches whenever we are starting, there will be people who are already have knowledgeable in the Java, but we will consider like no the person who are coming from the non background, or if they are starting their this is a Java is a first programming language, or they are starting this is a session as a their programming languages. Like no, we would go with the fundamentals. Okay, first we'll start from the hello world. And one more thing, whether you are IT background or non-IT background, once you decided you want to become a developer, like no, just we should forget that I'm non-IT background. No, so that's the way we should approach. Then we can learn quickly. So if we keeping in mind that no, I'm from non-IT background, so that blocker will be there whenever you're trying something complex thing. So we'll give a excuse ourselves. Yeah, yeah, it is for beginners, I can say that here, like who are starting their first programming language as a Java. So for them it is going to be uh, this program is designed. Yeah. So answer to your question, try to answer to your question, it's yes. So yeah, any other questions?
Yeah, okay. And is there any job-oriented program is provided after the course completion?
uh, Job oriented, you are saying that uh, I
Job
exactly
support.
didn't get you. Job support,
Yeah.
no. uh, I think we can check with uh, the management. Yeah, generally we don't do that. Yeah. So if you need for your resume preparation or interview preparations, or like no something you are lagging and something you need help, we can help you. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like not job support. I mean, interviews. I mean, so-and-so
Yeah.
interviews you can,
Interview
like that.
preparation also during the classroom itself. I will be covering the those topics. I will be covering that here. Wherever it's required here, some of the places I will be creating the examples. Purely interview questions, I'll be asking that here. Interview questions typically, what are the questions it will ask? Like no, I would be covering that as well. Yeah. So wherever it is possible, I'll be stressing that questions. These questions may ask and how to answer that. Uh, I'll explain those things. And when it comes to the end of the core Java, end of the advanced concepts, like you know, when you are putting the some experience, what kind of questions may come, those things will be covered. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's a, as you said, it's a 2.5 months course. Will it be on weekends also? That means like Saturdays, Sundays also.
No, we will be only having the class on this Saturday, no Sunday. So Monday to Saturday.
with the same timings, I mean like 8 a.m.
The batch timings you can check with the concerned person. Yeah. So this batch is going to start morning 6 a.m. I guess in Indian IST.
Okay.
Okay. Cool.
So,
Hmm.
what
Hmm.
is like your background? Like, are you like teaching for a long time, or you have an industry exposure?
Yeah. I think introduction you might have missed that. I work for the product based company. So first early mornings I would be doing these trainings. Yeah. Last you can say 13 years I'm doing this. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. So most of
Okay.
them who
By
are working
do
in this. Go ahead, please.
Yeah, tell me.
Yeah, most of
After you, I will.
yeah, most of them who are career IT, they all are working professionals. We don't have the only the trainers in the trainers profile in our organization. I can say that. Yeah. Okay, go ahead with your question.
Yeah, after completing this course, what we can be? I mean, like full stack
Hmm.
Java developer, right?
Yeah, Java full stack developer.
That which means that we are going to get some knowledge about this cloud as well as DevOps tools also. Am I correct?
See, DevOps as a developer, what are the things it's required? We will be covering that here. Like no, DevOps is a completely again different thing. Like no, you are not going to install as a developer. You are not going to install and do like no. So doing the configurations and all these things, that's not your job. Like no, that will be done by the DevOps guys. But what are the DevOps guys has installed? You should know how to use that as a full stack developer. So I'll be covering the those areas.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
as a developer, full stack developer, end to end, like what are the things you will be working in the organization? Those things will be covered. Yeah. So suppose I'm a senior software engineer, like no, what is my role is like no. So where I need to manage my code and at the same time, like no, whenever my juniors are doing this some code and I need to review that and have to merge that code. Then at the same time I have to run the Jenkins jobs, how to run the Jenkins jobs, like you know, if job fails and like you know, how we are going to look at that here, if something goes wrong, how to go and look at the logs, how to troubleshoot that. Those things I have to do day to day, you know. So the same things will be I'm going to cover in, no, in this full stack program. Yeah. Anything else, guys? Yeah, good questions. Yeah, at least this batch has few guys. They asked questions. It's a good. Yeah, feel free to ask any questions. Like no, no, you shouldn't be having the doubt. Like no, say, am I what I'm going to get it that like no. So there is nothing wrong in that. Like no, what are the
Yeah.
doubts you are having?
For
You can put that. Yeah, go ahead, please.
yeah, after completing of any each of the concepts, so there will be lab section. I mean, with us.
See, every concept I'll be giving the assignment questions and the classroom examples will be shared with you. Classroom examples is for your reference, and assignment questions is for your practice. Suppose if you are saying that here, hey, I have done this here, I have a problem. The next day morning, when you are connecting, first I will take the people if they are having some issues. I will be helping them to solve that issues. Then we'll continue the session. If somebody wants to review the code and they want to they need a help in the like no optimizing the code, if we share the GitHub link, so that we will collaborate and I'll be giving the review comments there. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
Hmm.
as a zero coding knowledge, how many hours of time I need to spend on this?
See, it is a simple equation. Suppose if you are attending the 1.5 hour session, so at least it demands you 3 hours session, 3 hours of your time it is going to demand at least. Yeah. So my 1.5 hour session, you multiply with the two. That is the time it's required for you to grasp that and to become a familiar or expert in that area. We need that's the time. So total, you can take it as a 4.5 hours it is required from you. 3 months, you are going to spend 4.5 hours. Then you can become a full stack developer.
Okay, after completing, I mean, after done with this course,
Hmm.
I mean, how, I mean, how I can be like as a fresher knowledge as well, or I can be
No,
like
you
two
you
to
can
three
you
years of
can climb
knowledge I
you
can.
can climb the you can get the 2 to 3 years of knowledge. You will get it. Yeah. So we
Okay,
can say 2 to 3 years knowledge. We can straight away you can say that. Yeah. That much code we are going to write it, and you would be taking the project scenarios, what are the project scenarios, and it may not give the entire project, the project, few scenarios we are going to take it, and I would be giving that example. Suppose if we take the invoice generation, it's not a common example where we are going to generate a invoice based on the this is a example. Again, I have to so to explain this example it may take little time. Like if you take the Singapore, USA, if you take the tax is a 0.05. Suppose if just it is an example, and if you take the Singapore taxation, it's 0.3, and if you take the India tax is it's a 0.8, that's a 8%. So this person, what you can call, let's take it here. Where is this customer? Okay, so this is what, here we have a different customers we are having here. They are from the different countries, and we need to generate a invoice. This is the customer who is Manoj, and is used the bill amount is a 560, and Indian currency is a IND is used that. And based on the currency code, country code, we need to do the taxation, and finally we have to generate a invoice for him. So this is the example, one of the examples, projects. Typically, when you're doing that here, you would be doing the calculations on the tax, and you are going to print the finally this invoice as a PDF, and you will be sending to the customer. Doing that assignment, it takes little time. There will be a hundreds of fields will be there, but here we have taken the only 4 fields we have taken. It's a stripped version of that. Then how are you going to generate a invoice? Like invoice generator, if I'm looking at here, this is a code for that here, how the taxation will be calculated, and tax competition, how it happens. And finally, if I'm going and running this example, we'll see that here we are printing the output on the console. Invoice is this is the one, and customer name is a Manoj, is bill amount is a 560, tax amount he has to pay that here, what is the total amount. Now when you take this here, invoice, the bill amount, invoice customer data, where is this? Okay, when you take the customer data, he has only name and bill amount and country. We are, while displaying the invoice details, we are displaying the what is the currency code he is in, and what is the total amount, and which currency has to pay that here. So this, where are you getting that currencies? Those currencies are, again, it is in a separate file. If you take this here currency, USA this is a currency, India this is a currency, and Singapore it is going to be this is a currency. So we need to read this file, and we need to read the customer data, and then we have to get the taxation. Depends on the particular country, we are going to get the particular tax object. We are computing the tax, and finally we are going to generate the invoice. These kind of assignments I will be asking, and we will be introducing in the classroom, so that when you are working in the project, you will understand easily. Oh, this is what I am doing. That is it make sense? Did I
okay,
answer your
yeah,
question?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. Yeah, I mean, like these all are the classes like you have structured in a one you have structured like a one curriculum way, like step by step.
Exactly. Correct.
Okay.
See,
And one more doubt.
the,
I mean, I used to hear like what is difference between full stack in Java, full stack in Python. I mean, full stack developer in Java, full stack developer in Python.
see, we have
What
a
are the differences?
mean stack and a MERN stack. When it comes to the Java, node developer, they have a mean and a MERN stacks. The mean is Mongo, Node, Express, then Angular and Node Express, and that is a purely for the guys who are working in the JavaScript side, and they want to their applications are completely in JavaScript side. They are going to prefer the mean stack or MERN stack. And Python side, you are going to use your backend as a Python. UI might be Angular or React, and instead of Java, you are using the Python, where you would be using the Django or Flask, like no equivalent frameworks you would be using here. And there is a database. Database is a common, yeah. So instead of Java, we would be using that here. Like let me take it here this example. Here you are going to have this is application. If you look at here, this is a server. I'm going to use here I'm using this Spring Boot I'm using here. The Python guys, they will use the either Flask or Django, they will be using here. If it is a Node developer, they are going to use the Node, they are going to use it here. That's the only difference. So here, this is the only portion it is going to change it here. Instead of writing the code in Java, you are going to write it in a Python. Here we are going to write it in a code in a Node.js, you are going to write it here. So these developers, we call it as a mean stack, MERN stack. MERN, we are going to take it here. And if you are taking the Python full stack or Java full stack, they call it. If you are using the Python and you are building the application, we will say it as a Python full stack. Otherwise, Java. If you are using here server application, then we call it as a Java developer, full stack developer. Yeah.
And after completing this course, do you get any certification, like anything?
Yeah. Course completion certification will be provided. So yeah.
Okay.
Good.
And is there any professional certification for this? I mean, full stack Java.
See, we don't. I mean, as a outside also, we don't have the full stack developer certification. We have a certification for the Java certification, Spring certification, SQL certification, different certifications. We can do that. So Oracle offers the Java certification, Spring offers the Spring certification, and SQL has got there are providers where they will you can take a SQL test and so depends on your score, they will be giving the certificate. So these are the little core Java certification. We have a level 1 and level 2. It cost you around I think some 6,000 something change. It is going to cost you 6 to 7,000 rupees, and where they will provide the certificate for you. And those to do that certification also, this course definitely it is going to help you. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay. No problem.
Hello, Lakshmi.
Thanks for your. Yeah, go ahead, please.
You said that now Meren is also in this part or also where as another
Yeah.
language, Meren.
Maven, you are saying, or MERN?
MERN, MERN.
See, this is a React and Node.js. That's all. Mongo, Express, React and Node.js. So this is for the Node developers, not for the Java developers. Yeah,
Meren stack is different and Java full stack is different.
correct. This see when it comes to the main Mongo, Express, Angular, Node. Here we are going to use the Java. We are not using the Node frameworks. So since he asked, just I explained that what is this Java full stack and Python full stack and the JavaScript full stack developer. What is the difference between them? Yeah, we will not use this at all. Okay,
Thank
we
you.
are not going to work with we are not going to work with the Node. Okay, we are
Okay.
working in the Java. Yeah, this is for the
Thank
for his
Yeah.
answer to his question. I wrote that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and one more thing. As soon as the
Uh-huh.
hello,
Yeah, go ahead, please.
Yeah, as soon as the section completes, at what time we can expect the uploadings?
It will take 2 hours from the recording because they have to process and verify that, no? So it takes the minimum 2 hours.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys. So thank you so much for attending this demo session. So I hope you learned something from me. So looking forward. So we'll inform you that when this batch is going to start. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Lakshman.
Yeah. Thank you.